get stupid. I shoot an arrow like Cupid. I use a word that don't mean nothing, like licked it. I sang on Do What You Like, and if you missed it, I'm the one that said just grab them in the biscuits.
Why doesn't the hero reveal himself and tell us your true name? You do have a name. My name is Gladiator. How dare you show your back to me? Slave, you will remove your helmet and tell me your name. My name is Fun My Comic, and I represent all the campaigns you shadow banned and kicked off your website. Huh? Creators that just wanted to fund, that wanted to be left alone. And we will build a website that is going to bury you all. Oh crap.
Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet? Has to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others. As for me, give me liberty, or give me death.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, this is Cooper from Telepathic Comics. Hold on a second and make sure. Hey there, this is Cooper from Telepathic. All right, so I got sound. All right. for my the other night I introduced. I was on the stream for almost 5 minutes for somebody who's a guest, like no sound, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And it turned out that I didn't have any sound at all. Um, so that was awkward. Uh, Bad thing about it, it's one of my best shows, overall. So I don't really have a way to, you know, get rid of it. So it's got that awkwardness at the beginning. I thought I went to trim it. I was like, well, let me get rid of that. And then I realized there was some really cool stuff that happened while I was, frantically trying to get my sound to work. Popping in and out of StreamYards and everything. And so I was like, well, I got to keep it all. Even the part that makes me look like a doofus. Bad thing is, I tried out the stream. I tried on everything, and it was fine. It was fine. By the way, I am trying to stream in high def. I'm also using. I moved the router closer to me, and I'm hoping that that's going to work a little better. So right now, until I get another router cable that's long enough, I'm not going to be on DSL tonight. So we're going to see how this goes. It could go well, or it could go really, really crappy. No idea. You don't know till you try something new, right? Well, sound like you're talking through a can attached to string submarine on the moon, or what, going through a tunnel. Well, let me see. What's going on here? Um, let me see here. So what? My confusion. Uh,
All right, let's try this one. Try that. Does that improve? Let's see. Try this one. Try that. Does that improve? Yeah. All right. Sounds better. Well, that's what we'll go with. No big deal. That's the one. All right. Let's see. Let's see if this works. No problem. Anyway, so yeah, we're in business now. All right. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it, dude. He's my closest thing I got to a mod. He's my ride or die. Appreciate it, dude. You have no idea. Well, yeah, that's bad. All right. I'm gonna cut that out. That was working pretty good for a while there. I was able to put some effects on my voice, but that just sounds horrible now. All right. Let's X out of that. All right. Close that out. See if I still got voice. Testing. All right. Close that out. See if I still got voice. Testing. All right. All righty. Good deal. Still got voice. All right. No problem. Anyway. So, yep, still good. All right. So, this year has been interesting. That's a good way to put it. It's been interesting. I would put it more like a testicular, roller coaster ride. In other words, riding a roller coaster with my gonads attached to it. So it's been kind of high stakes. It's been up and down. For the most part, I decided I was going to I was going to put my my comic in a campaign mode, and finally run a campaign. And well, I procrastinated on the sign up list, so I got that in kind of late. Had a couple setbacks before I even got in the game. And of course, it's been well documented on here that I did get a cancellation attempt. Did a pretty decent job of it. But it's interesting, that particular fan base that took a chunk out of me. Didn't take a chunk out of me. They burned me back to the studs. Was like claiming victimhood this week. And so when I caught them on it, I had a couple of like, well, you don't have any receipts. Where are your receipts? And so I detailed exactly what happened, and they never responded. They shut the hell up. I mean, what do? You could claim victimhood. You can claim we don't cancel people. They don't cancel people. They tell people not to cancel all the time. So where's your receipts? And like blah receipts, and it's like, hello, discussion over. What? That just drives me crazy. I mean, people want to like claim to be something they're not, and then when you call them on it, rather than mea culpa, or rather than the back step, or show some cojones, they tend to just disappear. It is what it is, but it doesn't say much for your personal I don't know what you would call it, but I guess principles, class, But the bottom line is, I'm not going to bellyache about it, but it was one of the big challenges this year. I had some people who I believed would be there at the end of this year that aren't. Some people who I believed in and built into and respected, who turned out to have not had to be in the same esteem. And so that's been a little difficult, not going to lie. Got to have principles. I think you misspelled that, my friend. Anyway. But I think that's part of everybody's journey. At the beginning of this year, I would have had members of my Genesis crew guys here. I would have had them jumping on the stream with me and having a discussion and hanging out. And right now it's a complete ghost town. But it's funny, the other day I decided I was going to change my title of my comic due to some principles that I learned from a marketing guy who was on my show Friday. If you haven't watched that show, you need to. It's a really great show. It's called Comic Wars 4. Ego versus marketing. Marketing versus ego. There, marketing versus ego. But really good show. Really good show. I highly suggest it. I've been trying to cut it up, and it seems like everything is so, hard to distinguish from one another. It's been a challenge to try to figure out what jewels to pull out, because it's just all jewel. It was a 2-hour stream, but worth your time. Well worth your time. Hoping to do more with Nick Axe and his buddy Crom. Hoping to do more this year with those guys. Maybe hire them to help me with my marketing. Had some very good ideas. Yeah, it was too short. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a lot more they wanted to talk about. So maybe we'll get them. Maybe we'll find time to get them back on the channel soon. Their time, not mine. I'm perfectly willing to have a chat anytime they want. But yeah, so when I was making those changes, though, I workshopped it in the Genesis crew, and like old times, they all kind of jumped in, and they all had a good opinion. They all had solid advice, and the same group that helped launch FMC Fund My Comic, the same group that came up with the name Fund My Comic, and a lot of the concepts that later became Fund My Comic. The same team that helped me with with Buy One Back One, helped me launch that. The same and workshop that. The same team that created from a joke and a meme the Little Mermaid, and the same team that helped Hojo launch his successful Mythicals campaign. That same team that so much, it's kind of gone. It's kind of, about the same time it lost some members, and it just hasn't recovered. And there's Aaron.
What's up, dude?
What's up? Just belly aching a little bit about the year,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I had a pretty good year overall.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were you belly aching about?
Well, I was just the things that have changed from year to year. That like this time last year, I had a really active, successful, and Genesis crew to fall back on. And you've been in that room, you know how dead it is now. From what it was. And
well, that's true, yes.
Yeah. And I was talking about, some people that, was with me last year that no longer are. Hey, Look who we got here.
It's unfortunate
live
to
from
lose.
Arkansas. Let's try to get him up on here.
It's unfortunate to lose, people who are friends with you, or at least like online associate friends. You know what I mean?
I hate everybody. Can you hear me?
Good approach.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good, cool. I'm in the process of setting everything up. So
yeah, you just moved, didn't you?
I just moved. I just got here like a week ago.
Yeah, he moved south. He moved way south. He went from Detroit to Arkansas. So
dang.
Well, where are you at? I know you're
in I'm in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in was it Illinois, Iowa border? So basically both states. Like I work in Iowa, but I live in Illinois. So
I'm just northwest of Memphis.
Oh, okay.
So but I guess it gets super blazing hot here in the summer.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you need to prepare for that.
Yeah, they told me.
Talcum powder. Get lots of talcum powder.
Oh, is that right?
A lot of sweat.
Well, I thought about doing a thing. I thought about doing it where I asked my realtor, hey, does anybody ever do solar panels down here because you have sun all year round, right? Yeah. And she's like, nah, nobody really is into that.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but you have sun all year round. I mean, it kind of sells itself, And only
what about the state? Does the state give kickbacks for doing solar or no? Because I think they do in Illinois.
They might, but they might not.
They do in North Carolina.
Like I have a neighbor with one side of his house has solar panels on the top. So,
well, you know what I would
but if
like
you live in Illinois, you're a deep blue state, so I guarantee there's subsidies there.
Yeah, there's some kind of subsidy.
They're all in on that climate change.
That's true.
Well, bare minimum,
they're all in on that climate change.
Just have my AC hooked up to a solar generator. Just that alone would be Like, I could
that might be worth the price of admission right there. Yeah.
The problem is if I do it, I have like a year warranty, builder's warranty on the house because it's brand new. So if I do it, then that might blow the warranty, right? So I might have to wait.
Well, so you moved into a brand new house?
Dude, I found a brand new house in a brand new neighborhood.
Wow.
And it was in my price range. And the money I made from the house in Michigan paid for it. Outright.
Well, I'm sure the property is, still
no debt.
And,
that's great,
dude. Shit. I mean, the whole thing was like, and I still have a lot of money left over.
Oh, Good for you. People in the north have no idea how the prices are down here. They really
have
don't.
No idea.
They have no idea.
I have looked because we've considered moving to Missouri. We looked around Kentucky and Tennessee area, and I mean, the prices, like you can get a couple of acres for the price of basically what I pay here. Like you get, I'd say I've seen I can't remember exactly the acreage, but it was like more, multiple acres plus a decent sized house. And it's like, shit, that's what I pay here. What am I doing?
Well, you live in a dungeon. It's going to cost you a lot.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
well, he just imprisons me every now and again. So sometimes I get to go to work.
You know what? So I looked around. I drove to North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, and then I went to Ohio and Arkansas. And this was by far the best deal I could ever find.
Nice.
And the area that I'm at is I'm in like it almost feels like a small college town. And it has a feel like North Carolina with less pine trees and less money.
Yeah. Yeah, North Carolina, but basically in the South, it's actually on the high end, pricey real estate.
It is.
It's disappointing. I mean, they've got a lot more taxes in North Carolina. Than a lot of the surrounding states. I could, if I would lived any closer to South Carolina, I could lose about 10 cents per gallon. There's people that live on the border that go over to South Carolina to get their gas because of that. There's no gas tax in South Carolina.
It's the same thing. Well, it's not that exact same thing, but like gas prices in Iowa, it's like, I don't know, sometimes it'd be like 20-cent difference or something. So I'll fill up over there after work and then I'll come home.
Iowa's
what I found out is like
still
that's supposedly illegal. Like you're not supposed to go to do that, or I don't know.
I was still
how do
a
they
red
check?
State. I was still a red state though, right?
I mean, it's pretty purple, but yes,
okay.
Right now it's ruled by the red side, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, how many red states actually exist at this point?
Well, I mean, they're shoving it full of illegals, so who knows? I mean, really,
they are, and I found it's really less about the state; it's more about if you have big cities, they're all blue, and if you have rural areas like this area, they're all red, right? And so they all still believe voting actually works, which is all a big problem because I don't think it works, right? I mean,
I don't think so either.
I mean, it might work.
You and Aaron need to commiserate. You two are on the same wavelength,
Right.
you both. I mean, like voting for your sheriff, maybe, but like much outside of your local community. I don't really. I mean, look at 2020. How many people were pissed about that? Where they pulled the tabletop thing right off, right in front of everybody.
Yes.
3 o'clock in the morning, and then we're all supposed to be like, I guess that's the way it is. We lost.
Hey, an 80% swing in the middle of the morning. There's nothing suspicious here. What in the world are you talking about?
Yeah, they're calling states that haven't even finished counting. It's like, Arizona's done.
The funny thing is, that 10,000 Mules came out, and they completely discounted it because the main data that they used, the subset of data that they used was cell phone data, metadata from cell phones, right?
Yeah.
And then so they said that all those January 6 people.
Oh.
The same thing. They used the same data to convict the January 6. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's what they used to convict those people that said that to show that they were in the Capitol, you know. And but then 10,000 Mule comes out, and immediately they're like, "Oh, that data is useless." You know, that's completely
and
useless
it's crazy. Data. Like I had friends, I had 2 different groups of friends. Like we all know each other in different ways, but they happened to be there. Like one set was over here, another set was like right there. Like he's got a recording of the guy walking around telling people that we're going to the Capitol.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's got
the guy who's still walking around. The guy who's still walking around.
And I don't know if it was exactly, that guy, but it was a dude. And my friend was like, he's not like any of the rest of these people. So he fucking put out his phone and started recording them. And he's, as far as I know, he still has that recording. So
when you
not saying he's going to do anything with it, but
when you get people in that state where that cognitive dissonance, it's over. Because at that point, you can, because even if you were like a Biden voter or whatever, you should have raised your eyebrow.
Right.
Yeah, right? You should be like, what? Right. Yeah, because like I for a long time never voted and everything. In fact, I considered myself an anarchist for a while. And it's like, you got nobody's suspicious about any of this. We're just going to pretend like this isn't happening, like how obvious some of these things were. They change a whole bunch of laws. It's like, well, Republicans signed off on it too. It's like, is that not questionable? Can we talk about any of this? Or like, what was it? Zuckerberg dropping, $500 million or whatever it was to sway votes and shit. That's not, you can't question that either. Totally. Like, let alone the metadata shit.
Well, and we know from the Twitter files, we know for a fact that they suppressed Hunter Biden's laptop information. Yeah. And there is surveys out there that say that if I'd known about Hunter Biden's laptop, I would not have voted for Biden. And it was enough people that it would have swayed the election. So that's election interference.
Potentially. Well, then with the Georgia stuff, they were finding that basically there were so many like fraudulent votes that it would have clearly fraudulent that they found surpassed the vote differential that Biden won by. So it's like,
right.
The other factor too, to me, another big factor is A, the cognitive dissonance, and B, it's the number one fact is, okay, even if it was blatantly so obvious, even to the Democrats, right? There's nothing you can do about it. That alone is a huge factor.
No.
I mean, if
can't even have a conversation about it.
Well, if it could be overturned, Carrie Lake would have been able to overturn it because the lady who was over the elections was running for office and didn't recuse herself. That should have been automatically DQ'd right there.
So
automatic.
And since then, it's been found out that she's in bed with the cartels. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
Arizona is wide open. Arizona's wide open.
I know this show is about always about politics, so it's important for us to talk about this stuff. But but not to drag it down. But I have a theory. Yeah. I have this is my possible crazy scenario.
Let's hear it.
So is that the Democrats are going to boot Kennedy off of their platform, and
he's already running independent.
They're already okay. And my point is,
independent. Yeah,
I would not be shocked because if he ran with Trump, right, well, and so to make a super ticket,
that would be a super ticket.
It would be. And here's the thing: I'm no genius, so I can't tell you where it all ends. But I kind of believe pretty strongly that everything that they've thrown at Trump for the last 8 years has all been manufactured, especially stuff now. They're actually doing it now to get him elected.
Right.
And I can't tell you exactly what the end goal is. It's so blatantly, I think it's almost like they're rubbing it in people's faces, right? Like, how they're kicking him off the ballots in different states. They're going to overturn that. And that's just to make him feel victimized, right?
Well, the chick
that's what all of it has been ever since the Russia collusion, which they already knew was total horseshit from the beginning,
right?
And it was their own inside guys.
Well, he's already back on the ballot.
Yeah, he got overturned if I remember right, like in Colorado. But I don't know if it's been in all the states that they were challenging him in. But that's just theater, like
It's
that's
all
what
theater.
that's the process they have to go through. Like,
But
oh, see, he's so illegitimate. All these states don't want him in there, and then that convinces the smooth brains. They're like, oh,
so
see,
theoretically, the theory might be scenario might be that they're like who's ever in control of the whole process is going to make big changes when Trump is become president again, right? So whatever those changes are, I couldn't tell you. And so this is the way to manufacture our consent, right? Let's just say he goes in there and he doesn't do what we think he's going to do. Let's say he signs off on digital money or UBI or something like that, right? You go, I don't trust him. I don't trust any of these people. And I think they're all kind of involved in this slow step towards where they want us to go. Yeah. And I can't tell you exactly how it works.
And I think that Trump is a part of that.
I do too. And,
well, I have to say though, just looking at his personality, looking at his career, looking at who he's been, you go back in the 80s and the guy was saying the same stuff back in the 80s on Oprah's couch in the 80s.
Well, consider this. He was also a Democrat. And the so-called Democrats, their ideology has slid so far left.
Yeah,
he can go as a Republican.
The Overton window has gone so far; it's ridiculous. Let me go ahead and get a couple of these comments over here. Still 2023 for all of you. Yep, so far. Hey guys,
what's up,
hey man, good to see you, man. If you want to pop on, the link is on and is tagged at the top, is pinned.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I wish it was under different circumstances, but what are you gonna do?
What'd you sell?
I sold out my stock on Fund My Comic because I got into an argument with Eric July. So everybody was like, "Oh, you were right," and they felt they wanted to back me. So thank you.
Wait, what does Eric July have to do with FMC?
Because I was on Twitter and he attacked buddy I like and wrongfully and I picked out that what he was saying about my buddy's comment was wrong because it was you could blatantly see with your eyes that he was just trying to gaslight the whole situation. And then so I challenged him on it and called him out for basically being a tourist. And then it turned into a bunch of sophistry, and me and him went back and forth for a little while. And then I think he just kind of gave up.
You held your own. You held your own.
You
were landing some pretty solid shots, my friend.
I mean, I'm a nice guy, but it really triggers the shit out of me. Like I see it's like a friend, and I've always been this way. It's gotten me in trouble, in real life, not just on Twitter. But it was clearly a bigger guy picking on somebody else. You're gonna tell me that B.A. Turner is a problem for fucking Eric July? Are you serious? And then on top of that, it was the fact that he was misrepresenting what he was even saying. He was like, "Well, he's saying I didn't deserve it or whatever." I was like, "No, he didn't. He didn't say that at all. He said that you had 17 years of a fucking audience to bring in. He'd never said that you didn't deserve it. He's just saying that." Whatever, it doesn't matter now. But the point is that he was misrepresenting what B.A. Turner was saying, and I called him out on it. And then I called him out on being a fucking tourist. And then so he decided to put me on blast and make an example out of me by quote tweeting what I said, or I don't know, I can't remember exactly how it happened. And then
let me tell you how you
long ass lecture, and it was all sophist bullshit. And so, our conversations, I was like, do I really have to pick apart all your straw men and fucking red herrings? Are you serious?
Right.
Are you a grown man? Do we really have to do this? But of course, it's the internet. And in fact, the second thing I think I said in my second post was like, we can do this in DMs. We can talk about that. You don't have to put me on blast. But anyways, he paid because my thing on FMC was like $1,000 because it was a storefront for extra stock. And he tried to stun on me saying, was like, well, I checked you out and your shit is fucked up and you suck and you ain't got nothing. So I'm going to, because I had like $300 in sales out of 1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and back your campaign and make it happen for you or whatever. So he gives me $706. And I was like, you know what? And then, like I said, 2 paragraphs of lecturing, and he has no idea about me, and all the shit was just completely misrepresenting everything I said and turning it and twisting it and all that stuff, like a sophist does. And then so I said, you know what? How about you keep your fucking, or I didn't cuss. I said, how about you keep your money and your insults, because I don't need it either. So yeah, and then it just, I don't know. It caught wind and fire and all that stuff. Or
okay,
I didn't expect any of that. Put it that way.
But I'm missing the FMC stock thing.
Okay.
Oh, my stock. Yeah. So I was just meaning, like, I'm sorry, Bunny. So he gave me $700. I gave it back. I only had 30 issues of my book. It was my overstock from my campaign that I did in the spring, and all that sold out because people were like happy to see me stand up to a bully, I guess, or just don't like Eric July. I don't know. But hopefully, I keep some of them as actual. Return fans or whatever. What's that?
But so okay, but I get that. But what does it have to do with Fund My Comic?
Because my storefront is on Fund My Comic.
Oh,
that's all I meant.
Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. Okay, wow, why would Eric like involve himself in? Oh, he involved himself because somebody said he didn't deserve it or something.
Yeah, he tried, because it was like a fan of his tweeted it, like tagged him on a tweet where him and B.A. Turner were going back and forth about it. And Turner pointed out that he had 17 years of an audience that he rolled over and then made it a comic book. Right. And at no point did he say that he did not deserve it. And then Eric July was like, he's trying to say I don't deserve what I got and all this other however he talks. And I was like, he never said that. Show me where he said that. And then he fucking danced around like like a, I don't know, a break dancer or whatever, just trying to get around the fact that he was wrong. And he's one of the personality types that will not admit that he fucked up. He can't.
Well, what's kind of strange with some of these books that are these massive books, like Eric July this is a perfect example. Like, why bother involving yourself in that discussion, right? I mean, exactly. As a matter of fact, the fact that people are just talking about you is a big thing.
That is how. I mean, I've listened to them. Why are you not answering? I don't know.
Oh,
that's what I was saying to him. Yeah, I was like, why the fuck are you answering? In fact, we went through this whole fucking roller coaster of sophistry just for me to have to get back on point with him. I had to screen capture the original fucking question of where did he say that and put it back to him, and he stopped. He's like, I already answered that. No, you didn't. No, you did not.
Let me tell you my experience. Okay. The reason why I got canceled was because I didn't have your flexibility. Okay.
You got canceled?
Well, yeah, he literally,
he got dogpiled. Like he was trying to get dogpiled.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Well, but what happened is because, anyway, but the reason what happened though is the statement that I made was that because some people were talking about doing plugins instead of going and doing their own website instead of going to FMC. And so I mentioned that FMC has like their own boxes and that have like people watching them, have people like taking care of the security on them. And so they're more secure than a plugin would be, kind of like the ones that Eric July built his website with.
Oh, okay.
And that's all I said. But somebody ran to him. And so telling him that I was talking trash about his website, or the FMC was talking trash about his website because I was doing it on behalf of FMC. And so he comes running and immediately jumps all over Luke Stone in FMC. They'll only be alive for about a month and a half, okay, or 2 months, I think it was. And Kelsey Shannon had just come on board, so the first big name.
Yeah, big
and
guy.
And so next thing I know, yeah, and so that's what Eric did, like 2 tweets and just basically sicked his fans on me, or it's basically sicked his fans on FMC. But because it was my fault that the FMC hit his radar, and FMC is so important, I basically took all of it on myself to get the heat off of. But the problem was his fans went after everybody that had anything to do with me. Okay. And that's so what he does is he shows up long enough to finger people to his fans, and then he goes away. He goes about his business. Okay. And so he won't even.
I find that really creepy. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever
weird.
been in the service industry and had to be like to serve rich, entitled people. But he's very much the guy who's just gonna, here's $100. Why don't you get the fuck out of my face, kind of guy.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I don't respond.
He basically threw money at you, man. He basically threw money at you.
Like $700 is gonna change my fucking life. Get out of here, dude.
Well,
I mean, I want somebody to buy my book who actually want, or to give me money for my book who actually wants my book. I don't give a shit about, I'm not in it for the money. If I get enough money to keep making them, that's why I'm doing it. Great. If I make more than that, even better, because then I can make more shit and whatever. But I ain't no bitch, first of all. So I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, other than I think that he's just probably spoiled. He's just the way he's grown up. And he has to have this arrogant, this like persona, right? He has to continue.
He does. Well, I'll say this too. On a slightly different subject, different tact. Bunny, you're pretty good at doing that kind of stuff. Like putting yourself in these mixes where all of a sudden you say the wrong thing. If the chat can actually back me up here, or Immortal Aaron can back me up.
I've seen it.
I mean,
but I will say
maybe you should do it like intentionally all the time. You're Mr. Bomb Thrower, right? I mean,
I told you should monetize that shit. I did not mean to. I really did not. I got triggered. I am not going to lie. I was emotional at that point. But after that, I was like, no, I'm not going to fucking put up with this shit.
He's a big, Eric's a big deal too. And all of a sudden, if all those people are coming at you, that will throw you for a loop to begin with.
It's like, why care about somebody,
Totally.
I think I saw, like, why care about me? I don't even have, any followers. I have no clout. Nobody even knew. Like,
I did a show. I
wish I knew about this. What's that?
Well, I did a show on this where I was just like calling both of them out, and I was like, why? You guys are multimillionaires. You've got like warehouses. You've got employees. You've got way more at stake here. Why in the world are you guys stooping to swat people who have don't even have 500 subs on their YouTube? I mean, why the hell does it matter?
Right.
It's immaturity, man. It's like insecurity and immaturity, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because you got an empire. You got millions of sales, whatever. Even though it's half of what you did the first time. But the thing about it is it's like, get over it. People are gonna like criticize you. Stop like stooping to take care of people who really don't have any impact.
Right.
It's like it's just bully behavior, and it's stupid.
Yeah. Why punch down? Why punch down?
Exactly.
And then the fact that he was wrong really kind of pissed me off. I'm not, I know I said I was not emotional and whatever. I was for that 1 second, but I'm not a very emotional guy, like negative kind of stuff or whatever. But man, I'll tell you, I get triggered when I see some shit like, I don't know, not to sound holier than thou, but like when I see like basic injustice, where he's clearly fucking wrong too. Like if B.A. Turner, like, B.A. Turner's been throwing shots at Eric July. So, if it was serious, then I could understand. Like if he was a threat to Eric July, that might be different. But like B.A. Turner's got like one campaign, dude. He's out there grinding his ass off, and you're gonna tell me that he's a threat to Eric July?
Well, one thing that B.A. said on the Forest Pubs show the other night, I was watching it, but he was talking about this, and he's like, you know what? He says, I watched the show where, evidently I didn't watch it, but he said that what Eric July said in the show is like, well, build your own thing, build your own thing, do
no
this,
shit.
do this. And BA was like, well, he says, some of us have kids, some of us have jobs. So
yeah.
He's
like, one of the things I said in one of my posts at the bottom, I was like, listen, I got to get back to my fucking family and my job. So
yeah.
Although I did not cuss. No, because I don't know if you guys have ever had an argument with a narcissistic type.
Yeah.
Not saying that he is. I'm not trying to analyze him, but he has a lot of things going on that are very narcissistic. And I was like, so I knew I had to stay professional, and even his response, he later called me, oh, the gentleman I gave money returned it, whatever. So fine. But yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. So like, if whatever I had said, he would have used against me in a narcissistic way, because I've seen him do it before. He's like, oh, well, you said this is what you really mean. No, don't try that with me, dude. Let's stick to the facts.
It's just so bizarre when like what is it all ego driven? Is that what it is?
I'm not sure. I mean, you could guess that, but a lot of times that kind of stuff comes from insecurity. So maybe he just had a bad dad or something.
I wonder what his overhead is, because if he's moving all those books, like, does he have a bunch of people he has to pay, and like a warehouse and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be a lot more, because if he's making $3 million a book or $2 million a book, I mean, and then you pay taxes, then you got to pay all the people. Right. I mean, what is he left?
Taxes on that, and you got to pay for all the supplies, and you got to pay for the rent, and yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I think Ethan's got that same dilemma, right? They have these huge books, and Ethan, we all know, has a warehouse, right? So it's like, it's going to cost him money just to store all those books,
Yeah.
All the merchandise, but
yeah, it takes time and manpower, and you got to pay people, and yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, what is their profit after, I don't know. I'm sure it's still significant. Like, I bet it's still more than or close to what I make a year or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Cui bono. Yeah, it's cui bono. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, who's benefiting from all this shit? I mean, and it's like I said in my show, I was like, who's benefiting from this? And it's like the people that are benefiting from this is the freaking mainstream, because we're letting them off the carpet. This shit like this is letting them off the carpet. And it's ridiculous.
Sorry.
That well, I mean, it's just ridiculous that we're allowing them to get up by doing this. The biggest names that we've got, the biggest guys who are in our sphere are this petty. And they're doing shit like this. They're taking snipes at each other like this.
It even got to where Friday Night Tights was bitching about indies. It's like, why? First of all,
FNT, man. Disney. Oh, yeah, FNT, man. I mean, it's like those guys. They don't do any research. I mean, they don't look at the indie sphere. They don't know what's going on over here. I mean, they're just wearing.
He even spelled indie wrong, so I don't care.
Yeah, I mean. They're just wearing Ripa gear for a millionaire, and they don't know what's going on over here. They got no idea, and they don't, and they're not paying attention enough to pay attention.
Okay, so I mean, I dislike his personality, find him very toxic, but that maybe is just his brand. He has to be that way, which would suck. I would not want to have to be that way.
Right.
But on top of that, good for him with his, his success and all that stuff.
Sure.
Maybe he'll be around here for Alpha Core number 5 and ISIM number 10. Maybe, but maybe not.
Here's a question: if Eric has the biggest selling book and Ethan's right behind him, who is 3, 4, and 5?
Mm-hmm.
Any idea? Would it be like people that make like $200,000?
Probably like Graham Nolan or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think Graham Nolan made a fucking grip too, and then behind him was
Billy Tucci, maybe.
Maybe, or I know Rini made over 150, maybe. So it's it's some of those bigger names and stuff, but they're not assholes.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
As a matter of fact, well, I don't watch your shows, but I know that
Well, I know Shane Davis at one point was like the number 3. Behind Ripa and EVS.
I like Shane. I don't know. Like, I don't know him personally.
Yeah, his sales are.
I've interacted with him a little bit. He seems more down to earth and more of a character sometimes, when he needs to be. But I don't know him well, and I'm not trying to talk out of school. I like the guy. He's helped me a lot. So,
yeah.
And I should say Eric's helped me a lot now too, right? Shit. Now I owe Eric.
There he is.
What's up?
Giving out blowjobs for everybody.
There you go.
What's that?
Well, you owe everybody. You're a starving artist. You don't have any money.
Believe it. Believe that.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me find out. I'm trying to deal with this Niobe thing. The link's right there, dude. I put it in the banner.
Oh yeah. He texted me, asked me.
Anyway, let me see here. All right. Yeah, we can find out where we're at here. Okay. Is I think the only person with money. There you go. Gets that at. Yep. Where's his HQ? His HQ's in Texas somewhere. Ethan's is in Michigan. I don't know where exactly. I don't care enough to know. Really not that expensive.
Ethan's not in Michigan.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he's
New Jersey.
New Jersey. My fault.
And
the mainstream
smell.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Let me. Okay. Let's put this banner back up here. All right. So if anybody wants to find the stream, here it is. It's on this.
Oh, cool. There's a button up here that says I can stream this to my audience
today. All right. There it is. Yeah, you can.
Should I try it?
So I wish Aaron had it. Aaron has that button. I don't know who it was the other day. Anyway.
What did I do?
So this year it's been interesting. It's been a year of growth. It's been a year of frustration. It's been a year where we've gone higher and done greater things, as a community than we ever thought we could. But at the same time, a lot of problems that shall we say, that we've had from the beginning. A lot of the same egos, a lot of the same infighting, a lot of the.
I really hate the fact that the community has been muddied and ran through the dirt so badly that everybody can just make up whatever they think the word community means now. Like I get it. We've all got our little circles of friends, and that's a community. But we're talking about indie comics in general as a marketplace. So if I need to start calling it the marketplace, then I will. But if you're in indie comics and you're even in that solar system, then I consider you a part of the community of indie comics. Does that mean that I owe you something, or that I have, that you got to give me? No,
you do. You owe me.
Well, this isn't like, this isn't like a church community, this isn't like anything like that. It's just the fact that we happen to all associate around the same ideas. So why is that so hard to call it a community?
Yeah.
Well, it's also loaded. There is this sense that you do owe other people things if you start using that word, right?
Right. Right, that's what I mean.
Other people can, when you say that word, other people can attach their own meaning to it, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's a different thing, right? Like,
yeah.
So
and then they're arguing in favor of that different thing than what you're talking about. So then we're just not talking about the same things,
It's crazy. Welcome to the human race, right?
Same thing with obligation. Like you say the word obligated, then people they put all their own shit on there. It has so it's like it's another muddy word. You can't use that word either, which is fine. Now we know. Yeah. But don't try to come at me like I'm a communist.
Well, I mean,
community. Total commie.
The thing, total commie. There you go. You're a commie. But the thing about it is it's like I said the other day. When this came up, I said basically that I don't feel like anybody has any obligation to anybody except in that it's like whoever a band of brothers. Okay. I mean, you don't have any obligation to me, but I would like, for people with larger platforms to use that power that they've been given for people other than them, just other like than just themselves.
Don't even
like
have
to, for instance. How many people has Pete pushed? I mean, Bancroft.
Yeah, I can't even get on a
there's
show
people like
for a couple of
Bancroft out
months.
there.
You know? Yeah,
Bancroft's a good
right.
example.
He's
He
got
actually
nothing
pushes
to
us.
prove.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Bancroft has 0 to prove. He's already done it. You know?
Yeah, but he's still, Bancroft's in that realm where he's still he's blowing us out of the water, but he's still one of us, right?
Yeah,
And
I
he
mean, he'll at
knows.
least talk to me. I think, you know.
Yeah. The
the
thing
chat,
that always
but, you know.
that always threw me though
Yeah.
was the Genesis crew. It kind of mystifies me that people don't retweet other crew members' stuff, especially when they have a campaign coming.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know nobody's perfect, but it's like that is kind of the point of the Genesis crew, is to sort of, if nothing else, just plug my thing, plug your thing.
Just retweet.
Just
it's
retweet.
What, 2 buttons? I try to retweet whenever I see it, and I like it hasn't been like a day, and I see it, I'm like, all right, let me retweet that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, to me that's a cool thing. It's always nice to see people do it, but everybody's also their involvement in the thing is different, right?
Right.
Some people, like, I haven't seen Aaron forever, right? And I know he's got his book. His Pendragon going to be coming out. It's like
I see. He's still posting.
He's posting. By the way, he's posted this one page the other day that was a 4 panels on one page, and they had like a battle between Arthur and I forget some other guy. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Pendragon's looking really good. I'm excited for it. He was on my show. He was on my show.
Pendragon is just amazing. Yeah.
It looks really good. I'm glad he found an artist that really seems like they get what he's doing too. Like, that's really great.
When I saw that page, I was like, dude, I want to color that page.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was like, that's
a good page.
Sweet. I'm sure he has his own style worked out. It looks really good. But that's the thing, I mean, he's not in the mix that much right now. And
not really.
Not really. But before he launches,
I think. Go ahead.
Before he launches, it would be nice for him to, because the book looks awesome. It'd be nice for him to come up with a way to get that out there on a broad scale. And I don't know, maybe the crew has answers for this. I don't really know how you do that,
I don't know either.
But I mean, you've got to flood, for lack of this is a bad term, right? You got to flood the zone with your stuff on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, people are going, well, if you're not doing it, well, why should anybody else do it? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you're not doing it for me, why should I do it for you?
No, what I mean is if the guy with the campaign isn't doing it, why should other people do it too?
Oh, I see. So they're not doing it for themselves.
Your own stuff. Nobody else wants to push it. It's like, well, if you're
good
to go the way it is from the start,
you
don't need our help. So
yeah.
It's just one of those things. You just go, and when you see a great campaign, you go, this has got to get out there, man. I mean, there's no reason why this isn't out there.
Yeah.
But you can't run people's campaigns, and we all have our things, I guess.
Yep.
No, I'm too busy catching up on sleep from like the last 40 years. So,
well, that's a good thing.
So, did anybody get anything cool, like as a gift, like for Christmas, in this vein of comics and comic book style art?
Oh, you mean art? I did get one thing, but it's not connected to the art. I got a brand new house.
There you go.
I'll take that. In my lifetime, this is the one thing. But
Shadowpunk, you are doing a second chance. You are doing a second chance, aren't you?
Yeah, I want to do a second chance. I might even do multiple ones because I do want to do an FMC second chance, but I also want to get the other market that is called Kickstarter. And I have a feeling that those people don't know our arena at all, right? I don't know how you describe them, but they're different people. Correct?
Did Niobe get the link or something? I don't know. let me
Yeah,
let me see if I can copy paste.
I finally sent it to him on Twitter. I sent it to him on Twitter. He's
all right.
Yeah, he's here.
I'll leave it up to him then.
No problem. SEO and tags so people even find you. Yeah.
What's SEO?
I guess
search engine optimization.
It is what it is. Okay.
And basically, it's all about
yeah, I know
tags.
what it is.
Like, well, I'll just let Shadowpunk know. It's like when you tag things so that the spiders on Google can go and find it easy for people who use those search terms.
I got you. Yep. Right.
Search engine optimization. Yeah.
So that would be things like hashtags.
Well,
it'd be like hashtags. Yep.
Right. That's it. Nice. Yeah. I am going to talk more with those guys, Nick Axe and Karam, the other night.
I haven't seen that show. I need to. I will.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in John's Long Box, I was on John Logsbach's show a couple days ago or whatever, and he was talking about him as well. He's like, "Oh, he's a really good dude," and all that stuff. Like he was on with him for like 6 hours, or I don't know, it was something crazy. So yeah, I want to go and see what he has to say. It sounds pretty.
So he was on live for 3 hours, and then John talked to him another 2 hours after that. So it was 5
there
hours.
There we go.
So it is what it is.
The stuff those guys talked about was different than the way people sell comics, because the way people sell comics in Comicsgate is that you are a game show host and you're going to become, people are going to like your personality, and that sells your book. And let's face it, that works. Okay. And then obviously the book has to be good.
Yeah.
But the way they came up with it was more about setting aside. It's a way to portray yourself in a way that's different than the way we do it. Because we portray ourselves as, for example, myself, like an artist who really always wanted to make a comic book, right? Their point was people don't, that's really super minor, right?
Yeah.
And what you want to do is involve them in the story right away. You want to go, and this is sort of something I learned about writing books and writing stuff, is that, and you can apply it to anything really, is that the hero of your story is the person reading the book. And your hero is going to be able to relate to the person that's reading the book, like Luke Skywalker and us, right? We're going to connect instantly with Luke Skywalker. We're going to relate to him. We're going to walk in his steps. And that was one of their points, is that I don't know if that applies to every single type of book, right? But it probably applies to a lot of them because they're superhero books,
Hey, speaking of BA, what's up, dude?
What up?
What's up, man?
Only 1970s Luke Skywalker, though, because the 2020 Luke Skywalker.
Whoa, yeah.
I don't identify with that at all.
No.
Right.
Gosh.
You know what's funny about Luke Skywalker? Mark Hamill is such a fucking liberal.
Yeah.
And you go, this guy is off the chart. Like either he's towing the line or he's lost his mind, right? But he gets a major pass because we love him.
I think that with his what I've heard about is his in real life experiences with his son's wife's kid, and how he was pushing for her to get an abortion or some shit like that. I think that says enough.
Whoa, really?
It was something I don't want to like too much out because I don't know all the details offhand. But yeah, it was something where like he was trying to she complained about Mark Hamill having a fucking sit down with her about why she should abort her kid. I'm like, dude, that's your blood. What are you talking about?
Whoa, that's fucked up.
That's I don't agree with abortion, marginal cases, all that shit. Fine. But on the whole, like it sounded like they were a couple. It sounded like they're serious and committed and all that shit. Why would you they're rich? It's not like they're like, oh, the baby's gonna starve in a homeless shelter or whatever. It's not the case. He just didn't want to have that responsibility, is what it sounded like.
Really, well, the more money you have, the less chances you want to take that whoever you're with at the time is going to leave and take half or more of all your shit that you've worked a lifetime for.
That is true.
That's fair. Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know her personality, but at the same time, maybe you should have made sure her personality wasn't so terrible that she might do that, like right now, you know,
Well,
or even
maybe
in 10
she should
years.
have asked some questions before she got involved with him, because if that's his set of values, man, she's in trouble. Because
That's true.
I mean,
If it's not her values, yeah, maybe hash that shit out. Yeah.
Fuck.
It's but you know what? I mean, I'm gonna be a hypocrite here because I didn't have those conversations. You know, my all three of my kids were accidental. You know, but I don't regret it at all. Like they're not like mistakes.
Yeah, there's there's a difference though. The difference would be
Aaron. There's something called a condom. It's called a condom. It's an apparatus. You know.
Don't like them.
Obviously you don't.
And Mark Hamill,
I can't feel anything. Yeah, neither can she. Congratulations.
Oh my God.
Oh no, I'll feel it all.
There's a certain thing about accidents is, you know, if you keep doing the same thing and things keep occurring, then, you know, maybe it's not an accident. You know, just say.
How about unplanned? Unplanned. Is that better?
Unplanned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only plan was to
unplanned. There you go. That's good. That's
have
good.
some adult fun. The rest was a shooting.
Anyway,
I would think that Aaron, I would take a wild guess, is that your wife understood those things about you while she was dating you, and that solved itself, right?
Probably.
I mean, if she went on a date with Mark Hamill, and after the first hour, she would go, "Wait, what the fuck did you just say?" Right? You know, I mean, those things would work themselves out clearly, and you don't give that vibe off, you know. So.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, people do sort themselves out. It's so funny. That's like that's been a thing in the last 3 days. That phrase, I've had to keep saying it because I've lost friends over the Eric July shit. I mean, it's like, oh, I don't hate you and all this stuff, but
really,
I bet you they don't see me the same way, you know. So it's fine.
Well,
I mean, just people who don't want to be around trouble. Apparently, maybe I cause trouble, so they don't want to be. Okay, that's fine.
Because
I don't hate
you
either, guys.
You look volatile, like you're trouble. You scream volatile, right? You're the actual opposite, right?
Because he lives in a castle dungeon.
I know. I mean,
I was imprisoned against my will, so I might just freak out anytime.
Enough about that
stuff. Maybe it wasn't you that tweeted. Maybe it was Black Chad that tweeted. You know,
probably Black Chad, tired of his bullshit. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, Eric July."
There you go.
I don't know. Well, no, I mean, Eric July pushes a lot of horse shit too. Black Chad would love that.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
There you
go. To me, it was the fact that Friday Night Tights was talking about that shit.
You know, make a couple announcements about. Yeah, make a couple announcements about upcoming things. I'm entering into like a partnership with Chewy with Wookiee Fever. We're going to start doing a show called Cryptids and Conspiracies.
Cool.
It's going to have so we're already working on like the title sequences for it. It's going to appear both on my channel and his channel. And I also have something I'm working on. Maybe that's going to help people to find shows that push campaigns easier. I'm thinking about starting a network of shows that do that. Like, yep, you'd be on it, Will. But that way we have like a so when people go to push a book, they have like a string of channels. So instead of willy-nilly, like, do you know about this channel? No, I didn't know about this channel. You know, maybe get all that in one place. That way, make it easier.
So you're saying
that's something that I've been.
So you're saying something? It would be something like if somebody wants to publicize their book, they would have a string of not just 2 or 3, but a bunch that they could actually go on, and those would be people that you would actually call. You would contact them and say, "Do you want to be involved in this?" Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, no. What it would be? What's up? Well, welcome, Atrocity Press. What it would be just like a loose affiliation of shows that will push books. That way, we're all a more organized way, because right now people are finding them by word of mouth, and they're like, "Oh, do you have that contact information?" What if that contact information was one group, okay, this person wants to push a book, and then post it in the group, and then anybody that wants will have his contact information. Anybody that needs content for their channel, or wants a book to push, they will have that access to that information. That way it's easier to connect. And so what one person can maybe instead of endlessly trying to find shows, or endlessly emailing people, or tweeting people, it would be like one contact person would take that information, post it in the group, and then it's like, okay, this person's pushing a book, and this is what we know about the campaign. This is the campaign to look at it. If this is a book you feel like you want to push, this is their contact information. That way, and everybody that wants to push people can be in the same group, the Genesis crew, or some stuff like that. What's up, Philman, whatever, X.
I like that idea. Here's an idea.
But
go ahead. Oh, so how I know.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Luke is doing a ton of things as it is, right? But since he owns FMC, it seems logical that he would have a thing where he would go, okay, on my show, Luke Stone, I'm going to actually have anybody that's on FMC to actually plug the book, right? That would be a no-brainer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but think about it is right now, the way things work. Okay, the way things work is very inefficient, and basically it's all completely on the person who's already overwhelmed running a campaign to find all these shows, and to get this way the people that who have shows that they could come on would contact them, and that way it's a lot easier for somebody who's running a show to contact somebody and get it set up than it is for one person to contact 30 different shows and schedule it, right? But this way,
I agree. That sounds great. That would be so helpful. Oh man, because for instance, my network ran out. My network of people, I was doing sometimes multiple shows a day and all this other stuff. But after 30 some odd days, I dried up. It's probably 60 shows I was on or whatever. And after that, after that, I'm cold calling. Hey, can I come on your show? And then I never hear a return, because
isn't that weird?
Shit, I'm 1 in 20 people who's probably trying to get on the show that week or whatever. So, I get it, but at the same time, it sucks.
Right. Yeah, that would be really cool.
But at the same time, there's certain campaigns that are not going to be good for certain shows. But being able to see that campaign ahead of time before somebody contacts you, and you don't have to look it up, it'll be right there. It'll be easier for you to schedule the show. Okay. So if you're not if you're not SF, safe for work friendly, not safe for work friendly, then you won't be able to, you won't have the one with all the breasts and everything. You might not want Perfect 10's campaign, exactly. But what it would do though, there you go. Well, we'll have them on, of course, but but I'm just saying, I think having it all in one place, just having it organized, would make it easier on the campaign and the person with the show. You could, so one person contact or one of the mods from this group, right? And they post it and say, okay, this is campaign somebody wants to push, and then you're like, well, I'm scheduling for this Friday, or I'm scheduling for Friday next, and just look through who's pushing the campaign. And then then there's the contact information, and it'd be easier for you to schedule, and it'd be easier for that person to not. But if they have a campaign, they contact me, and the campaign is just complete disaster. Then the people can look at it without, for somebody's cold time, then you might have a campaign on that. You're like, what's this campaign? Why is this campaign on my show?
Been there, done that.
Or you could check it.
I make sure to research everything now, because sometimes the campaign's doing like really well, like it funded in the first day because that person is popular. And they've got their friend that's an artist who doesn't do sequential art, doing the sequential art, and it looks like a kindergarten kid did the book. And I'm like,
well,
that's why I always say, well, it's the best time to make a comic, and it's the worst time to make a comic, because in this day and age, anybody can make a comic. It doesn't mean you should, but anybody can.
You know what, Will?
Right.
That's a good point. A. B. Can I ask you, because I don't remember, did you get my book? I don't think you did.
No.
Okay.
I don't have. I started when I first started doing the shield shows. I had a bunch of great people on, and I just started backing everything.
Of course.
And then when it came time to pay my rent, I didn't have any money.
Totally. I mean, the idea that you get everything that's on your show is absurd, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
especially back then, I was doing 7 or 8 shows a week.
The only reason I bring it up is because I didn't know this about you, that you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, she would actually probably like my book.
Yeah.
She is she's an artist herself, and she is 100% into the anime manga stuff.
Oh, I got you. Right.
Which is why when I backed Joe Ball's Death. Don't tell Mo Biggs, but I got the the anime version.
Right.
Oh no! I
would think that most
speaking of anime manga type. Speaking of the anime manga type,
is it
really? I will be sending. Yeah, Jose Garcia with his kind of style.
He did your book.
He did. Yes.
Wow.
Very much
It took
so.
him. That guy's so fast. It probably took him like a month, right?
It was very quick. Not only that, but we've also done. We did a 7-page story in Out of Obscurity with Arrow Comics. We did I think it was 8-page story in Anvil Magazine #2, and we'll now that I've sold out my stock on FMC, I'll be sending more to RJ so I can sell some more on FMC. But anyways, now that I've got that cash, I can use that to start a 20-page story about a good spirit warrior fighting against Dracula. So it'll be really cool.
Why don't you do one about a really obnoxious YouTuber who picks on smaller creators?
That'd be funny, actually.
Rhetorically gets checked.
Well, Bunny, I would, but I don't know any smaller channels than mine.
Dude, I'll tell you something. That's a really cool idea. Yeah. If you got Jose to do a little like a Calvin and Hobbes strip about that, right? About how absurd Eric July is, that would be pretty fucking funny.
I don't know, because he stays out of all of any politics, whatever, any of the drama. He hates it and all that stuff, and I don't want to drag him into that. So
I got you.
I just want to make sure he doesn't run away and forget about me. So
that would still be.
Well, I can tell you from experience,
it's a good idea.
Who's the guy? Is it Bill Waterston that did Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah, Bill Waterston. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he would turn that idea into fire, right? He could make it so that every person who read that thing, the 3 panels, would get how stupid it is for a giant guy like that to involve himself.
or Stone Toss. Do you guys know who Stone Toss is? He's a political
Stone
cartoonist.
Cold's little brother.
No, Stone Toss. He does like 3-panel comics, and they're very good, very political, very politically charged, and they're hilarious. So,
wow.
I mean, even his detractors are like, "Man, I hate Stone Toss," but he really nailed this one.
Well, but the thing about it is, though, is you know, as we come up on the new year, we're reaching impasse about where the old methodology is not working anymore. And we're going to have to get more organized, and we're going to have to get, you know, like the Iron Age, you know, publications that, you know, Luke is working on with that I can't remember his name. But the guy, this other guy, but that right there, being able to publish books on demand and get them into comic shops is very,
Iron Age Distributing. Is that
you
it?
know,
Yes.
Iron Age Distribution, right. And get them back in like stores and stuff like that. I mean that to correct that glaring like shortcoming that we're dealing with our distribution chain.
Can I ask you about that?
I mean, and Luke's making those.
Can I ask you about that? So, because I don't understand this process. Our books cost a lot of money to print, right? So,
anyway,
that's why we sell for $20 or $25. So, how do you put that in a store and can compete with Marvel, who sells for $5?
Well, because if you let me finish, because they're doing a cheaper version of the books. They're breaking the books down into floppies to where they'll be more curbside friendly. Yeah.
So I've been talking about something like that. For me, in fact, I was on John's talking to him about the idea. I was like, you know, give me your input. So my idea, since this is a 52-page book or something, would sell for $8 in my local comic book shop. I know, because I went and go ask him, and he's like, he has a wall of indies that he sells, because he's a part of like a indie comic book club, and they pick which ones they like, and then he puts it on his wall, kind of thing. What I was considering is, since it's 50 pages, cut it to 25, like to a beat in the story where 25 roughly would make sense. End it there, make it black and white, and even make it even slightly smaller. I don't know how much smaller, a little bit smaller, but give it a color cover, a nice cover, and sell it for like $2. Make it black and white on the inside, and I could legitimately sell them for $2 a piece. And then I could get an introduction to my story and the art and all that stuff. And then the boutique would be, when I do my Indiegogo, then they could grab it on Indiegogo and get the full color, get that 80 pound paper and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's the only option that I can figure out, that it's still affordable, it's still attractive. $2 for a comic, for black and white comic with Jose Garcia art, and a nice cover, I think is very doable. So I just haven't pulled the trigger yet, because I've been juggling a lot of things right now. But it's on my agenda for this coming year.
Well, Arrow Comics is doing something similar, but their whole entire line is going to be available on Iron Age Distribution. Plus it'll be available for campaigns on FMC as an option. So he's going to have plenty of product to put out. What they're right now is they're working on infrastructure, and they're also, these comic shops have got to opt into it, but and some of them have drank the Kool-Aid, and so they're going to die before that happens. But the thing about it is all right.
What's up, Everly?
Hey there. Sorry about. Well, thanks for coming anyway. But the bottom line is that this upcoming year, I think, is going to be it's going to be the year where I think the smaller campaigners are going to have to just decouple from the current paradigm of these bigger creators who are, trying to squash us like a bug and start like doing stuff for each other and forming networks on our own, and not worrying about whether or not a big name pushes us or not.
Yeah, I can't do that
because I see. Yeah, well, I really honestly see that that basically something needs to change. Okay, what happened to me last year was far too easy. It's far too easy because everybody scattered away from me like rats leaving the sinking ship. But we see what happened with Aaron was he did lose some people, but a lot of people rallied to his cause. So I can already see in a couple of months how much that's changed. How much it's changed, at least in just that from what happened to me in June to December. It changed that much to where, while it's before you would be radioactive and nobody would even, everybody would like scatter. You had people that were actually saying, well, hell no, this isn't going to happen. You're not going to do this. And,
and not only that, but I will say that, you had to take a bullet so that, a friend of yours wasn't continually attacked and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of difference. Like I willingly, jumped in front of a train, but, by yours, I think it was a little bit more on by mistake or something, and then it was all guns blazing. Your position was very different than mine. You came from a way that could easily be misconstrued, whereas mine was like, no, just simple, basic fucking answer the question. So it's a bit different, but I hear what you're saying completely. There's a lot of people I've heard responses about what I did and all that stuff, and a lot of people were like, man, I was with Eric until I saw that. That's so petty and all this other stuff. So, good. Fine. Don't be around petty people.
well, it's like I had right. Well, it's like earlier. I had people like because I a lot of these people who back Eric and attack people on his behalf were claiming victimhood and that they were being misconstrued. And so I just basically gave my testimony, as to what happened to me. And I had them say to me, well, I don't see any receipts, that they talk about all the time that they're against canceling people. And I was like, okay. And so I gave a complete rundown of what happened. And, and suddenly there's no response to it. So, I'm not alone. I know but I honestly think that the preponderance of this happening, eventually, we've got to start looking out for each other. We got to start standing with each other, and we've got to start organizing on our own and stop looking at these guys like they're leadership. They're not leadership. They don't want to be leadership. They want everything for themselves.
They'll even shit on that. They'll say, oh, it's a mercenary market, and I'm out for myself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
And so it's a complete moot point to see to look up to them in any way, shape, or form as anything but creators. Okay. If you like Cyberfrog, if you like ISOM or the output from Ripaverse, by all means back it, but don't look at that as somebody you should emulate,
right.
The be all end all of, indie comics. They are not.
Yeah.
You make a good point.
I mean, F&T and those guys are pushing. Go ahead.
You make a good point,
Bunny,
because that paradigm does not work. What it does is it creates a massive Grand Canyon between the big guys and everybody else. And but the other problem with it is the fact that there's also a lot of division among everybody else. I don't know why people want division, but they have it. They make it if it isn't there.
Because it's good for clicks. That's why.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's it. It just
Well, that's
seems
what
like
I was told. That's why I did what I did. It's like, no, I actually did not. But thank you for playing. You know.
Yeah. It just seems like what Bunny's talking about is a good idea because something has to change where small comic creators can actually make actual money. Because let me tell you something, I did everything in my campaign and I didn't even break even, and I had 150 backers. So it would be nice to actually make a little bit of money, just to make it worth it to do it. It just seems like it almost seems nonsensical that it isn't that way. So.
Uh-oh. Bunny, okay?
He's gonna go drop a pellet.
Little owl pellet.
He's like, I heard that.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
How's the Rangenet factory treating you?
Well,
I bet if you just refreshed your page, it'd probably
go.
clear it up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let me just say this though. The one of the impetuses for me thinking that there needs to be a drastic change is Shadowpunk. Okay. All right. Now they're always saying that this campaign just wasn't elaborate enough. It wasn't big enough. It didn't have enough stuff on it or whatever. And yet here's a guy who had a 9-minute movie he worked 4 years on, and it's a work of art. He has a great 3D trailer, awesome IP, which is very unique, very atmospheric. The art was great on it. The coloring was great on it. And it was a really interesting, fascinating story. And when I got the book, I can tell you it's the best thing I read last year. And that includes all the big ones that I got from all the big guys. And yet he should have been in the 5 figures at a minimum. Okay. And if we had the structure in place for where word of mouth could have got around that, okay, that this incredible campaign, look at this 9-minute movie here, let's push this guy. This guy has got the goods and this guy should be seen, or Aaron with with the incredible art that and incredible story that he had, and the thing about it is all I'm seeing is people retweeting. When I did the buy one back one, the idea was that if as long as we're mentioning the big guys, they'll retweet, and these smaller campaigns will be on the same tweet. And therefore it'll be a bigger audience. And that was the idea. But then what we ran into was, even though their name was on it, these guys weren't retweeting stuff, even though they had to see it because it would be in their feed. They weren't retweeting. And so the flaw was assuming that if it benefited them in some way, that they would push something that wasn't theirs. And and what I found out was that's not the case. And so
can I just say thank you for saying that, because that it means a lot that you actually liked my book. So I really appreciate it.
Like your book, man, it made me bawl.
He said your book was the only one that he gave 6 carats to, or whatever. So
yeah,
that was choked on the ball, something like that.
That was super cool. And for a guy that's the first book you ever made, it means a lot, right? But you bring up the buy one back one, and that is a perfect, excellent example of the nature of the clicky, the clicky nature of all us creators. It's like that to me. Buy one back one is a great idea, super simple. Nobody should be complaining about it. I mean, even if you think there's a better way to do it, in my mind, that's another thing you're going to do down the road. But this is a good idea right now, right? And so the way people reacted to that was so alien to the way I think, right? They nitpick it until it goes away, right? And I remember thinking, that's dumb, man. I mean, if you're a big creator, why wouldn't you go, I'll do it? I lose nothing.
Yeah.
I lose nothing. And I help younger creators start out, To me, that is just a no-brainer, and there's something really weird about the way we behave amongst each other. I don't know what it is. I'm sure I'm as guilty as anybody, but it's like, is it that hard to like have a little solidarity, And I'm like Aaron. I'm almost like anarchist, right? It's like even I can recognize that.
Yeah. Well, it's like Niobe just brought up. Oh, it's not a community. We already talked about how that's such a dirty word. Like anybody can put their own definition on what a community is. We're talking about two different things at that point.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, it makes a good point. Yeah, I mean that is true. You can't human nature. This is what it's about. But it's like I don't know. It was just buy one back one, and it was people in the crew were negative about it, and I'm like, you have an agenda, because this is not that hard to figure out. you're bringing your stuff to this scenario, right? Just let it fucking go. Let it go, and let's see how it works, and we'll see if it was a good idea or bad idea. Right?
What I find is funny is like people be like, build your own pie or make your own pie or whatever. That's fine. So how is it taking from your pie to show your customers that other things exist? How is that taking away from your pie?
Well, some people have,
and
right?
Okay, what's that?
So some people have. Some people like obviously Bancroft has done it, right? He's always there for the smaller creators to go on a show. For a long time, didn't Malin do it? He had a bunch of people on his show, right?
He did. I remember they called him the coach. Yeah.
Mandy Summers has done it, right? I don't know if
but the way he did it wasn't. Yeah.
Say again.
You lagged out.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean the way Malin was doing it though, it was like it was almost like the Lord of the Manor invites you peasants to come to my feast, and so
okay.
I don't know, I would I wouldn't have promoted on there even if it was a big audience. Just I can't stand the guy anyway.
Slightly less than
the thing about it is though is what I'm talking about. He's right. Right now, there is no community. Why? Because the people who everybody is circulating around have made sure there's no community. So, if we can form a community, okay, we can start rooting for each other. Because what do we got to lose? The people under 10K. What have we got to lose?
Nothing.
And there's a few things going on,
and so
with all of this. So.
Year I'm working on I've decided I'm going to work on an infrastructure that benefits my cancellation really hurt my promotion, my ability to promote, and there was nobody behind me after I became radioactive for a while. There's nobody behind me, there's nobody doing what I was doing, and so this year, that with lessons learned, scars scabbed over. This time I'm going to go about it differently. This time I've decided that I'm going to aim for creating an infrastructure that makes it easier for everybody to promote one another. And if a big person like Rini Draws or somebody like that wants to participate in this, I mean, it's open to everybody. But just for a smaller campaign or somebody who doesn't know anybody, or doesn't have their own show or whatever, that's not plugged into the community, to come in and have a place where, you need to promote, contact this person, give them your information, and they'll put it in. And if anybody wants to promote your book, they will get in contact with you. But it's no guarantee that they'll be promoted. But if they've got a good book and they've and there's somebody that doesn't like fight with everybody and turn people off, and it's too much of a lightning rod like Aaron. Anyway, kidding. I'm kidding.
I love it. I mean, I didn't mean to. I seriously, I didn't. Come on, dude. Who the fuck? Why would I think Eric July would give a fuck about what I said to him? Unless it was true.
That's what happened with me and EVS. I'm like, EVS, EFAP me? What?
Right.
That happened. But you never know who's watching. You never know. Anyway, so I am having awful lag. So I am having an awful lag. So before I really lose control of this thing. Thank you guys for coming on.
Sure.
Thank you for the very active chat, for more eyes than I expected today.
Yeah.
Here we are. 2023 was a crazy year. Anyway, all right. But 2023 was a crazy year, but 2024 2024 is going to be no problem. Thank you, Evelyn. But 2024 is it's going to be an opportunity, and I am going to talk to Nick, Axe, and Crom, and get something going with those guys. They want to be a resource, and I'm going to make them. I'm going to do my best to make them a resource. I'm going to make it available to everybody, and I'm going to make. My biggest goal is to make sure that people like Shadowpunk don't fall through the gaps. Okay, because I mean, or Aaron, immortalizing. Anyway,
we're the incredible chicken creators.
If I hear one more time that my campaign has flown under the radar, I'm just gonna call my campaign flying under the radar. Sorry.
The all-in tier will be flying under the radar.
Yeah, Jason agrees. My erstwhile mod agrees. So we'll get those guys back on real soon. They want their own channel, and but hopefully they'll come on my channel for a few more times. Anyway, thank you guys for coming. Thank you to the fluffiest chat. Thank you to the seekers and the dreamers and the people wanting to go down the rabbit holes with me. We appreciate it very much.
And just remember, you go in the rabbit hole, it's an extra $20.
Took me a second. I got you.
You always make it weird. You always make it weird.
A little weird. A little weird.
Anyway. All right. Before Will gets too wound up, let's go. All right, thank you, everybody. Anyway, remember, follow the white rabbit, and we'll see you next rabbit hole. Bye, everybody.
Later on. Bye.
Whoop. Did you do it?
That was a long show.